For Native Americans, storytelling is of utmost importance to diverse tribal identities, languages, ceremonies, and worldviews. However, many of these stories remain untold. For Jen Deerinwater, a Cherokee journalist and activist, centering these voices is vital.
OCO, I'm Jen Deerinwater. I'm an enrolled citizen of the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. I am multiply disabled. I'm bisexual and two-spirit.
Jen believes we can enhance our understanding of history and each other by sharing the stories of people at the intersections of marginalized identities like her own.
I try to take a really intersectional approach to the work I do. There's not any one way to be an Indigenous person or a disabled person. There's all kinds of us in this world.
In recognizing the complex identities, perspectives, and experiences of Indigenous people, Jen rejects the colonial narratives that have shaped American history. These narratives tend to paint all Indigenous people with a broad brush. Disabled, queer, and Indigenous women, if they're acknowledged at all, are stereotyped and degraded. Jen knows firsthand how these narratives continue to impact real lives today.
I grew up in rural Oklahoma and Texas, but I've lived in a lot of large cities and mid-sized cities since I left home at the age of 21 for college. And I've seen discrimination and erasure everywhere I've gone, whether it's in, my small town of Collinsville, Oklahoma, or it's in New York City. I've been in a lot of different spaces where people like me just aren't welcome and aren't present.
Jen credits her mother and her grandmother, her DG, with giving her the strength and courage to pursue her dreams despite these challenges.
My DG was the grandparent who played the largest role in my life. She was an artist. She would sing around the house. She had told me that she wanted to act when she was younger as well. And when I was about 17 or 18, I asked her, why didn't you leave home? Why didn't you pursue these dreams? And she told me, well, women just didn't do that at that time. Hearing her say that, it hurt. It made me really sad. And it also made me very angry. My mom had said something similar. She studied dance when she was younger. And really, it was my DG and my mom who really pushed me to say, no one is going to stop me from having what I want. I am going to show up and I'm going to fight for those things and I'm going to be present.
Today, through her journalism and activism, Jen seeks to rewrite the legacy of the past and restore agency, dignity, and visibility to others.
Feeling marginalized in my youth and up to the very present has really fueled my desire to create a world that is loving and welcoming and supportive and also rooted in justice for not just myself, but for everyone, because, none of us are free until we're all free.
Much of Jen's work brings attention to Indigenous people living in poverty with chronic illnesses and disabilities.
There's a very long history of institutionalizing, incarcerating, and erasing disabled people in the so-called United States. As a disabled person, we're not really allowed to be a part of society and to be a part of daily life and communities because the world's just not disability accessible for us.
A two-spirit person, Jen also lifts up the stories of other two-spirit people. Two-spirit is a term that Indigenous people use to identify someone who isn't male or female, but embodies both masculine and feminine qualities.
I would like to think that I am providing a safe space, a more comfortable space for Indigenous women and two-spirit and indigiqueer people to tell their stories. There's a certain level of just understanding and knowledge that I'm able to bring in that someone else may not. And as a result, I can go deeper. I can ask the right questions and have richer, deeper, more thoughtful stories than perhaps someone from outside of my communities would be able to do as a journalist.
Everything Jen does is informed by her indigeneity, defined as a person's identity linked to a tribal nation, history, and memories originating from a particular place and the land.
When I think about my indigeneity, it's so much more than just a racial checkbox. It's so much more than being American Indian. It is the tribal nation that I belong to. It's taking part in my tribe, in our elections and our ceremonies. It's trying to learn our language. It is so much more than just being a racial box. And I really try to use my indigeneity to center the work that I do, to uplift my people, to be there to support my people, and to think about the 7 generations to come and how what I do in this moment impacts those generations to come.
In 2016, Jen founded Crushing Colonialism, an international Indigenous-operated nonprofit organization.
We work with Indigenous storytellers, so that means artists, media makers, journalists. We work with them around the world to help highlight their stories and to help highlight the work that they do and to help empower and educate and provide professional resources to Indigenous people doing these traditional forms of storytelling.
For Jen, keeping Indigenous traditions of oral history alive is both a way to honor her heritage and to empower the storyteller.
There's something very empowering about being able to tell your story for yourself as someone from a marginalized or erased community. You know, my story is mine to tell, the good, the bad, the ugly of it. You know, no one is going to come in and say, this is who Jen Deerinwater is. I'm going to tell that story for myself. So I feel like I might as well speak up and cause a ruckus and fight for myself and for others.